Hello again, this is Al, and this would be lesson number 47, and instead of going over every single remaining function in that string class that I've added, I just want to mention a few more. One in particular that I just added to resolve an ambiguity issue, which is we don't have anything to add to just add two of our string things together, and it's pretty easy to implement. You see this particular line, a few lines wouldn't compile. Where is it? So we're going to do with padding. Here, this particular line couldn't compile, not because it can't be compiled, but because it was ambiguous. The ambiguity being that there are several ways the compiler can deal with this. Normally addition goes from left to right. So the first attempt that the compiler has to accomplish is, for the first part anyway, is to add these two, both of which are of type string. And I've provided two possibilities. I've provided this possibility to treat the left-hand side as a string, as a bare string, and the right-hand side as a string object, or to use this one, plus, to treat the left-hand side as a string object, and the right-hand side is a bare string. So in order to resolve that ambiguity, I just chose to define outside of the class a addition operator which takes both string objects and invoked the left-hand addition operator that we already defined as to resolve that case. So that took care of that problem. The other more serious problem is again going back to our comparisons. I have thought I had a complete list here, but it struck me while I was daydreaming or something that there's again something missing in this list, and it has again to do with the left-hand side. We don't have anything to define this type of operation. Left-hand bare string, right-hand string object, and so therefore those needed to be defined. I defined them all in this manner, and then I made a macro to just easily type in all the rest of them without having to retype this. So OP here is through this macro is replaced by either double equals, not equals, less, greater, and so on. So that takes care of those comparisons. The other functions I want to address before moving on are not these, but the substring functionality, mid, which many people are used to being called substr. In the STL world, for instance, if this was a STL type string, you would say str.substr, and the typical format is starting position, and a count. Okay, and a special value, which they call endPause, which when specified this way just means go all the way to the end. That's exactly what mid does, except instead of having an endPause type special magic number, I just split it up into two functions. The first case takes index, starting index, and a count, and the second single parameter version just takes the starting index and assumes that you want that to the end of the string. Now, this implementation is quite simple. I just take the starting first. Well, if this is out of range, I just return nothing. And by the way, this doesn't modify the string. This returns a new string, a new substring object from the string. Yeah, so I just take the starting position. Again, this assertion here is something that will bring up a great big warning message if this condition is false, and then return. And in release mode, it'll just return if this condition is false. Basically, it's saying that no negative values for first are allowed. So if the starting position is beyond the length, then return nothing. Otherwise, just return the pointer at offset starting position. Now that might seem like I'm just returning a pointer, but that's not true. Since this object returns a string object, it will convert this pointer value into a string using the regular constructor. So there's no problem in just doing this addition here and letting the constructor take care of the rest. In the more general case, if my length is 0, or if if the count is specified as nothing, return nothing. That's what they asked for. This should really be asserted. That's an invalid count. Negative count is not valid. It would have been in the old days, or for NFC, a negative count would indicate 2. Well, I guess it's still valid. Forget what I just said. I'm taking it as valid. If it's negative, that's like saying infinity. Otherwise, if the starting position plus whatever count was supplied is beyond the length, return the first function from the offset first, which will take care of any other invalid conditions. The last scenario is if the substring specified is contained entirely within the string, in which case I create an entirely new string object, use a resize function, which is just a wrapper around realloc. All it does is call realloc with some number of elements. The number of elements I want is the count of the length of the string that the user has specified, plus 1 for a null terminator, in TsString and tcars. Then I immediately set the length value to what they specify without having to calculate it, because I know that that's what I'm going to end up with in the end. And then this is just another mangled version of a well-known function, stir and copy. And if you look in the help file, you can figure out what this truncate stands for. Okay, and there's finally an assert here to double check that this assignment did indeed result, or that this copy, I should say, did indeed result in creating a string whose length is in fact mlen, or mcount, which was passed in. Some examples of use of mid were given, or I can give. This is just a regular string. Let's start with something like that. For instance, if I want, get rid of these t's that won't clarify. Suppose I just wanted the string, but starting from the letter S here in sum, so I could count this up. I want to start at position 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7. So S mid 7 should do it. I am. I'm missing. Oh, I need a string. This is just okay. And you'll notice after I step over this, first, that it worked, but secondly, that the string itself, here's what mid returned, and here's our string. It didn't change, and that's the interface to this function. It doesn't alter the string, it just returns a copy in the specified format. If I just wanted the word sum, I could start from 7 and extract 4 characters. Again. So I get the word sum. And again, the string has not been altered. And these are easy functions to sort out on your own. Based on this mid, you can add a lot of extra functions that are just ways of manipulating this substring functionality. For instance, there's this left that extracts a portion from the left-hand side of the string. I could say left 4, and that should print the word here. Or if I wanted the right-hand 4 characters, that should produce the word text. There you go. Now all these are doing are just invoking mid with the appropriate parameters. Okay. Now, where was my list here? Okay. Now, there are a bunch of other functions that you can look at yourself. The code has been uploaded as it stands. I won't go over these in detail. It's quite easy to figure out how they work. I can show you examples of use. Here's an example. I'll use the bars here. Centering and justifying and so on happen to be operations that modify the string. So if I want to do it without modifying the string, I can always make a copy of my string and do something like center. Suppose I want to center. This is a heading in a document with 60 characters, and I want that to be centered, let's say. First I'll print the string without modification. Then I'm copying the string and centering it, and keep retaining these bars, and I'm missing a bracket. Plus, I'm missing a plus, but I'm missing. So here we are, the original string. Here it is centered as best as possible in a container of width 60. I can justify left or right by padding. The way that function works is it's the same as center. The number value given is the length of the string that I want in the end, and this specifies that whatever the string is, I want it to be padded. I want the padding on the left hand side, so the text should be to the far right. And there it is. I can reverse strings. For instance, now the order matters in this particular, can matter in certain cases. For instance, if I reverse this string, make the it goes this way. Suppose I reverse the string and then pad left. Get rid of that. You should see the reversed string padded on left hand side, just as before. Like that. So here's the reversed string padded on the left. But if I reverse the order of these operations, now what's happened is I've got a left padded string, and if I reverse that left padded string, the padding's going to go to the other side. See? So sometimes the ordering of these operations can matter. So I'll let you go through on your own the rest of these functions, and I would like to explain a little bit about find, and that there are a few more things that I think are essential. I would like a stir token type function that takes a tokenizing parameter. In particular, I would like to be able to say this. To extract a line from a let's say a block of text that it contains lines, a file. I might open a file, and then what I want to do is go through line by line, right? And I would like to be able to extract a particular line, do some work on that line, and then advance to the next line. So what I would like this kind of function to do is extract everything up to a /n, remove the /n, return me everything ahead of it, and update itself to the /n. I'd also like it never to return me a blank line unless I'm at the end of the file. So that's the similar behavior to the regular stir-toke function. So that's something that always comes up, and I'd like to be able to do that. That typical loop looks like this. While not maybe modify the line. Something like that. Eventually the string is exhausted and the loop quits, and I might have done something like replaced all of one word with another word, or done some other operation, whatever operation it happens to be. It might not be a modification. I might be doing something like add my line to a dialog box. Something like that. So this would be a way of taking an input file and taking the text lines from that input file and putting them into a box, a dialog style box. Okay, so that's it for now. If there's anything critical that I need to mention, mention it along the way. Okay, see you next time.